can't look stressed or scared. You just have to go out there and be completely normal.
Speak No Evil, incredible. Thank you guys for joining us here at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm with James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, and director James Watkins. How are you guys?
We're real good to be here.
I'm thrilled to have you here. Let's kick it off, James. How did the Speak No Evil remake come about, and did you watch the Danish version knowing that you wanted to adapt that, or did the project come to you and then you saw the film later?
So I've kind of had a long-term conversation, I suppose, with Blumhouse and talked about trying to find something, and then they got in touch and said, you should watch this movie, see what you think. So I watched it, and yeah, my eyes lit up, and I thought, okay, I can have fun with this.
Sure.
There's an opportunity for me to dig in. I love the original movie, but I also think I can make another movie that is different enough and singular enough and get all of our DNA into it and get a bit messy.
Incredible. Now, Mackenzie, Louise is no superwoman, but she is definitely more competent than her husband. What was your way into that character, and can you talk about her state of mind at the beginning of the relationship in the beginning part of the movie?
Yeah, I think you're just catching a couple that's like been through some shit and has been in therapy and has made certain agreements about how to behave respectfully around each other that makes them both quite neutered, that they're not acting like impulsively or with like any sort of like blood. They're making decisions after negotiating them internally to make sure that it's okay. And weirdly, that creates a very interesting character to play in a horror movie, because you have somebody who has like very good instincts, knows exactly, and has this sort of mother's instinct about protecting her family and knows exactly what the right thing to do is. But she's also in the process of rehabilitating her marriage. And so you kind of get to justify a lot of bad decisions out of preserving that relationship, which was quite fun to play.
Now, James, bad vibes are seeping off of Patty, even in the trailer. But he's definitely charming. Can you talk about striking that balance with the character?
Yeah, I mean, striking that balance with the character was one of the key things that made me excited to do the part, because walking a line or walking a tightrope is always exciting. And playing with the audience's affections, playing with the audience's tolerance, really, for his behaviour, but then pulling them back in with something that was entertaining or funny or just charming, like you said, was just, you're constantly juggling and balancing, and that's one of the things that I've been lucky to do that a few times in my career, and it's one of the most fun things I have got to do as an actor. So to get to do that here was awesome. But when the line you're walking is between masculinity, acceptable masculinity, and toxic masculinity, and acceptable politics and unacceptable politics, all that stuff, that's also quite loaded as well. So the line you're walking isn't just like good guy, bad guy. It's also like stuff that people get really angry about as well, or really opinionated about. So it was fun to do.
Interesting. Now, James, we don't want to spoil the movie, but with any adaptation, we can expect changes. How did you decide when to kind of veer away from the original and do your own thing, and also take from the original?
Well, some of the themes, obviously the setup, two couples meet, is in the original. There's some brilliant scenes in the original that we took and ran with. But it's relocated. The original film is a Dutch couple and a Danish couple, and it's very much based on how those nationalities, I guess, how they would react. Now, we've made it Brits and Americans, and there's something about the kind of can-do-ness of American culture. So in the original movie, I don't want to give any spoilers, but they're less active, I should say, as the hero couple. And I think both Americans and Americans as an audience don't want that. You want to feel that these people are trying, at least. And I wanted to change, because I thought when you reached a certain point in the film of all the cards are on the table and you're confronted with violence, like, they got to, with these American couple, they've got to at least try to, whether it's run, fight, hide, do something, you know? And they're not, as I keep saying, they're not like suddenly Navy SEALs. They're pretty cack-handed. They're pretty inept and chaotic and scrambling, and we lent into all of that.
It's absolutely incredible. Now, Mackenzie, you've worked with Scoop before on Halt and Catch Fire a few years back. How did that help that chemistry between you guys to kind of create that family bond?
I mean, it's great. You can't fabricate knowing somebody for a long time, and you know, we had lived together in Atlanta, and we just were on a show together for 4 years. So there was all of this sort of, you know, earned intimacy that we didn't have to create in the movie, and yeah, I had grown to respect him so much as an actor. I mean, I was really young when I did *Halt and Catch Fire*. It was one of my first jobs, and I looked up to him so much, and have just admired his skill and his way into characters for so long. So it's so nice to play a different relationship with somebody that you respect so much already.
It's incredible. Now, James, what do you think Patty and Kira see in their fellow traveling couple while in Italy?
Vulnerability. I think if they're like the lions trying to go out and hunt, then they're looking at them going like, where's the weakest? Where's the one that's got an injured leg? Where's the ones that can't walk right? Where's the one that's like sick already? And it's not with you, but they see Ben and they go like, them. We can get to them through him. And I think they're rubbing their hands together and their eyes are lighting up when they see Ben, and when they kind of spend a little bit of time with him, they go like, yeah, we can make it work with him.
Absolutely. Now, James, we're watching these two families play off of each other, and it's increasingly awkward, in increasingly awkward ways for most of the movie. Did that lead to any particular memorable things on set?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was fun.
Sure.
You know, I know it was awkward, but actually it was fun exploring the awkwardness. I mean, I think it's funny when particularly, so there's a scene where Cotton Eye Joe plays and they're having an alfresco meal outside, and Paddy's sort of, the beast starts to come out a bit with him towards the children when they're putting on this dance. I mean, in that scene, the sort of intensity of it and how James is with the kids. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of kind of pastoral care with us all kind of going, you guys okay? Yeah, and they're cool. They're all, the kids, they're fine. But it's like, yeah, but we're all slightly going, okay, this is getting quite intense.
Yeah, we do say like the kids are totally fine, and they were. The kids are totally fine. I don't know. Maybe we'll run into Dan in 15 years. They'll be like, dude, that film f***ed me up for life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I don't think so. The kids were running around having the summer of their lives, it felt like.
No. And the important takeaway is that Cotton Eye Joe plays a very important role in the movie.
It does. As does Eternal Flame.
Absolutely. Now, Mackenzie and James, both of your characters are parents and have very different parenting styles. Can you talk about the way that we in See No Evil, what it has to say about being polite to other, or when you see weird interactions with parents going on, when to speak up and when to be polite about it and stay quiet?
My experience is that people so rarely speak up about the treatment that you see other parents doling out to their children. And look, 9 times out of 10 it might be something you don't agree with, but it's not something that you can actually go like, ho ho ho, this ain't okay, or this is actually illegal, or it's like, you know, you can't touch that kid like that. But even when it does verge into that, 9 times out of 10 people just go and put their heads down or whatever. And I've definitely experienced that over the last 14 years of being a parent, but yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that I think you could just hands down go, that's illegal, I need to put hands on you and stop that. But there's a lot of stuff that you want to do that for, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you see somebody just like making their child feel shit about themselves, and look, even the best parent can do that, by the way, but when you see somebody chasing it, going after it, like it's their purpose, like, oh man, it hurts.
That was interesting. I felt like that was a dad-to-dad moment there, talking about that. Now, James, you are very familiar with Comic-Con. You've been out here before for other projects, and you know, a movie called Deadpool and Wolverine came out over the weekend, and your character's name got dropped plenty of times.
For real?
Plenty. Have you seen it?
For real?
Yeah,
did they name it as in McAvoy or Stewart?
Well, you know, that's the interesting thing, because I think Emma Corrin kind of like resembles you a little bit, and I
thought that.
Yeah,
I thought Emma Corrin looks like a kind of a weird, like, she's not weird, but like an AI creation of me. When I've seen people do AI versions of me online, it looks a bit like Emma Corrin looks in that film.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, would you be interested in reprising your role as Professor Charles Xavier? And would you want to be the Fox version, or would you like to be a new reinterpreted version for the MCU?
Listen, for me as an actor, if I'm going to go back and play a character I've already played, I would want to be a new, different, reinterpreted or newly explored version or something like that. There is the only thing that makes me take any job is whether the script's good and whether the character's interesting, and that would have to be the case. It would also have to be the case that I got offered that. So that's completely hypothetical. But I mean, I feel like they're moving on, they're doing new things, and they're going to do great things as they always do. But I would never say no to something if I've not seen the script, and I would never say yes to something if the script was really bad.
Absolutely. Well, look, I'm rooting for a good script and for you to reprise your role as the professor. Well, look, thank you guys so much for joining us at San Diego Comic Con. And one last thing, Albert over here in the corner, it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Albert!
Happy birthday, Albert.
Just to remind you, I'm a vegetarian.
Our gift to you.
That is so...
Louise, doctor's orders.